All right, so you guys wanted a deep dive on the Hexham heads, huh?
Yeah, this is a pretty creepy one.
Oh yeah, this one's gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's got like strange artifacts,
hmm
unsettling events,
Yeah.
maybe even a wolfman sighting.
You know what's really interesting about this case? It's that the paranormal stuff that seems to be happening around the heads kind of clashes with what the scientists say about them.
Right.
Like you get this spooky stuff,
Yeah.
but then science is saying, hold on a second. These heads might not be as old as everybody thinks.
Okay, so let's just set the scene right. It's 1971.
Correct?
Hexham, England. Two young boys,
Mm-hmm.
Colin and Leslie Robson. They're playing in their backyard.
Yeah.
And they find these two carved stone heads just buried in the dirt.
And these weren't just any old rocks they found. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, these things were really intricately carved.
Wow.
Almost like little sculptures, you know?
Yeah.
One looked like a human face, and then the other was like more wolf-like. And, you know, the designs on them had this kind of Celtic vibe.
Uh-huh.
Just adds to the whole mystery of it all.
So these kids are probably thinking they found some kind of ancient treasure.
Yeah, exactly. Who wouldn't?
Right.
But then things start to get a little freaky.
Okay.
Pretty soon after they bring the heads inside their house, the Robson family starts experiencing all these weird things happening.
Oh, no.
At first it was subtle, right? Just little stuff.
Like what? Like what kind of stuff?
Oh, you know, like objects moving around on their own, or the heads themselves even seeming to change position.
So it's like a classic haunted house,
Yeah,
but with these creepy little stone heads?
exactly. It is.
That's wild.
It is.
That's really weird.
But it gets worse. The family says they started hearing these strange noises
Oh, no.
and just this feeling like they were being watched all the time.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, just a really creepy feeling in the house.
Yeah.
And then things go from creepy to straight up terrifying.
Okay, what happened?
The boy's mother said she saw a figure.
A figure.
Yeah, like a half human, half wolf thing
Oh my gosh.
in their house.
That's terrifying. So wait, are we thinking this sighting is just a coincidence?
I don't know. It's a good question, right?
Yeah,
I mean, could it be because of the heads?
possibly.
Like, we have to think about what we know about wolf creatures in folklore and mythology.
Right,
They're usually connected to the wild parts of nature.
right.
Some cultures see them as protectors. Others see them as, you know, dangerous supernatural beings.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
I could see that. So maybe those heads with that wolf imagery brought out some primal fear, you know, and that fear turned into that scary encounter she had.
Yeah, could be. And that's when the story of the Hexham heads really blew up.
Right.
Everybody was talking about them.
Yeah.
People were calling them cursed objects with dark powers.
Which, that brings us to another interesting point, right? We as humans seem to be fascinated by cursed artifacts. Throughout history, there's all these stories about objects that have bad luck tied to them,
Oh, yeah, tons of them.
or even evil spirits.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think we're so drawn to those kinds of stories?
Well, I mean, scholars have been trying to figure that out forever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a way for us to deal with our own fears,
Oh, interesting.
like by giving those fears a physical form,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Or maybe it's just us admitting that there are things in the world we don't understand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's a little creepy, but also kind of cool that an object could have that much power.
I know, right?
And with the Hexham heads, that power seemed even more real when a really respected archaeologist got involved.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Ann Ross.
Dr. Ann Ross.
Yeah, she knew a lot about Celtic artifacts.
So she wasn't someone who was easily spooked.
No, not at all. She was known for being very level-headed.
Right.
You know, really relied on facts and evidence. So when she started having creepy experiences after taking those heads home to study, that's when things got really interesting. It was like the same stuff the Robson family went through.
Really?
Apparitions, that feeling of being watched, even a glimpse of that wolf-headed thing.
Wow, so you have all these different people, you know, with different backgrounds,
Right.
all saying they saw similar things.
Yeah.
This isn't just one person's imagination running wild.
Right, and that's what makes Dr. Ross's experiences so important, right?
Yeah.
I mean, here's this respected scholar, someone who's supposed to be all about facts.
Right.
And even she's having these creepy things happen to her. Makes you think about how powerful belief can be, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, we know about the placebo effect in medicine, right?
Right.
Maybe there's something similar here, but instead of positive beliefs, it's negative ones that are causing those experiences.
Like a nocebo effect.
Yeah, exactly. But then you have the scientific analysis of the heads.
Yeah, Professor Robbins from the University of Southampton. He looked at them and said they're probably from modern times not ancient times.
Wait, seriously? So they might not be from the time of the Celts?
It seems that way.
Doesn't that kind of, I don't know, debunk the whole mystery then?
Well, that's the thing. If they're modern, how do we explain all the weird stuff happening around them?
Yeah, that's true. Does that mean everyone was just imagining it?
Maybe, but maybe not.
It's like a paradox. If they're not ancient, then who made them? And why?
Exactly.
And how could something modern have that much, energy?
Good question. So Professor Robbins, he used a bunch of techniques
Okay.
to figure out how old the heads were.
Uh-huh.
He looked at the style of the carving, what they're made of,
Okay.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't go into too much detail in the sources you provided, but
Right.
those scientific dating methods have gotten really good over the years. Like they can tell you the age of something super accurately.
Yeah.
So I think we've got to take that scientific evidence seriously. But if these heads are modern, it just brings up even more questions.
It does. So if we accept that, then what else could explain all the strange stuff people experience?
Right. Well, one theory is that the whole thing was a hoax.
A hoax?
Yeah, like somebody made them on purpose
Oh.
just to freak people out.
Okay, so like a prank gone wrong.
Maybe. Yeah.
But then why would everyone's stories be so similar?
Yeah.
And why would a serious archaeologist like Dr. Ross get caught up in it?
Good points. Okay, another theory is that the heads, they're not cursed or anything,
Right.
but they act as some kind of psychological trigger.
A trigger? What do you mean?
Like maybe their design, especially that wolf, brings up some deep-seated fear in people.
Oh, I see.
And then that fear turns into those creepy experiences.
So you're saying the heads aren't the cause of the weird stuff.
Right.
They just kind of bring those fears to the surface.
Yeah, exactly. Our minds are powerful things. Yeah.
They are, yeah.
Our perceptions are easily messed with by suggestions, expectations, our own fears even.
Interesting.
So it makes sense, right? People believe the heads are cursed,
Yeah.
and so their minds just create those experiences.
The nocebo effect again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that could even explain why Dr. Ross, as skeptical as she was,
Yeah.
she still got affected. I mean, she knew so much about Celtic stuff.
Right.
Maybe those heads just tapped into something in her subconscious.
Wow, that's fascinating. So we've got the hoax theory and the psychological trigger theory. What else is there? Well, what if there's something else going on, like something we don't understand?
You mean beyond hoaxes and psychology?
Yeah, like what if the people who made these heads, even if they're modern, what if they use some technique or material we don't even know about yet?
That's an interesting thought. I mean, we tend to think we know everything about how the world works,
Right.
but history always shows us there's more to discover.
Right.
There could be forces out there,
Yeah.
energies, even other dimensions
Right.
that science hasn't even touched yet.
So whoever made these heads,
Yeah.
maybe they accidentally tapped into something we can't explain.
Exactly. Like they're a bridge to another world.
Whoa, okay. That would explain why people have such intense reactions to them.
Right. It's like they're channeling something or
Sure.
other.
Okay, now for the biggest mystery. The Hexham heads disappeared in the 1980s.
Gone.
Vanished. Nobody knows where they went.
Like the final act of some magic trick.
Right.
Leaves everybody wondering, how'd they do that?
Were they stolen?
Maybe.
Hidden?
Could be.
Or did something else happen to them?
Something we can't even imagine.
It makes them even more mysterious, doesn't it?
Oh, totally.
Like they vanished into thin air, just like those apparitions people saw.
Yeah.
Who knows, maybe they'll turn up again someday.
Bringing all that strange energy with them.
Right. Until then, the legend of the Hexham heads continues.
Keeps people curious, Reminds us that there are things in the world
Yeah.
that we just can't explain.
So what do you think? What stands out to you most about all this?
About the Hexham heads.
Yeah, what's the most intriguing part for you?
Ooh, good question.
Is it the creepy events, the Wolfman that they disappeared, or the whole science versus personal experience thing?
So many good ones.
I know, right?
It really makes you think about the limits of what we know,
It does. What if there are forces out there that we can't even comprehend?
The Hexham heads definitely remind us that we don't have all the answers.
Right.
There's still so much out there that's unexplained, maybe even unexplainable.
And that's what makes life interesting, right? The mystery, the unknown.
Oh, yeah. Keeps us curious, keeps us searching.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe someday you'll run into your own mystery.
Ooh.
Something that turns everything you thought you knew upside down.
Oh, I hope so.
Right.
That would be amazing.
One last thought to leave you with. Imagine, just for a second, those Hexham heads reappeared.
Okay, I'm imagining.
Would you want to see them?
Oh, tough question.
What do you think it would be like to be near objects with such a weird, creepy history?
Yeah. Would I be fascinated or freaked out?
Right. We've got a ton of other deep dives into weird stuff and historical mysteries if you're interested.
Oh, yeah, definitely check those out.
Let us know what you want to learn about, and maybe we'll do a deep dive on it.
Yeah, let us know.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep an open mind.
The world is full of incredible things, things we know about and things we don't.